All right, let's get into it. We're heading to Barcelona to talk about the Basilica of Santa Maria del Mar. And look, at first glance, you see this absolutely gorgeous Gothic building. But trust me, its story is anything but calm. It's a wild ride of community pride, brutal conflict, and, well, a rebirth nobody saw coming. So where do we start this story? Well, we're going to start at its most shocking moment. The year is 1936. The Spanish Civil War is just kicking off. An anti-clerical mob storms the church, and they set it on fire. For 11 straight days, the inside just burns and burns until it's nothing but a blackened, empty shell. And let's be clear, this wasn't some tragic accident. This was on purpose, a deliberate attack on one of the city's most beloved buildings. And that's the real puzzle here, isn't it? Why would a city turn on its own people's cathedral? I mean, this place wasn't built by kings or popes. It was built by the people, for the people. So why on earth would they try to burn it down? To get to the bottom of the fire, we've got to go way back and understand the incredible spirit that built it in the first place. Okay, so let's talk about how this all started. Let's wind the clock back, like 600 years to the 14th century. You've got Barcelona's Ribera district. It's the neighborhood for merchants, sailors, shipbuilders, and it is absolutely booming. These folks looked at the city's main cathedral and thought, nah, that's for the fancy nobles. So what they do? They decided to build their own. 54 years. Now, that might sound like a long time, but for a Gothic marvel like this, it's lightning fast. Seriously, most cathedrals of this size took, I don't know, a century, sometimes even longer to build. Finishing this one in just 54 years, well, that tells you everything you need to know. The entire community was all in, working together on this one single massive goal.
So how did they pull it off? Well, for one, there was no royal money here. The funding came from local merchants, from guilds, from shipbuilders. But the real heart of the story, the real sweat, that came from the dockworkers, the Bastaixos. These guys volunteered to carry every single massive stone all the way from a quarry on their backs. Can you imagine? They are literally the foundation of this place. No wonder it earned the name the People's Cathedral.
And you can even see that community spirit in the architecture itself. It's a different kind of Gothic. You know, when you think of Northern Gothic, you picture those super tall, spiky cathedrals dripping with decoration, right? They're all about soaring verticality. But Catalan Gothic, what we see here, is different. It's all about wide open spaces, simplicity, and purity of form. It's like Northern Gothic is reaching up to the heavens, while Catalan Gothic is opening its arms wide to welcome everyone inside. And wow, just look at the result. The inside is just serene. So spacious. The columns are so slender, and there's this incredible sense of width and light. It manages to feel totally immense and yet somehow really welcoming at the same time. It's just the perfect tribute to the people who poured their hearts and souls and their backs into building it, which of course brings us right back to that burning question. Okay, so why burn a church? The paradox of 1936. I mean, seriously, if this place was such a beloved symbol of the common person, why would anyone want to destroy it? Well, the answer gets tangled up in the really complex politics and social upheaval that was tearing through Spain at the time. So the attack here wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of this thing called anti-clerical iconoclasm. It's a mouthful, I know, but here's what it means. For a lot of revolutionaries and anarchists back in 1936, the Catholic Church as an institution wasn't a source of comfort. It was a symbol of oppression and power. So burning a church wasn't just random destruction. It was a statement. It was a symbolic act, an attempt to reveal the secrets they believed the institution was hiding. And this is a really important detail. What they actually targeted tells the whole story. The mob didn't try to blow up the stone walls from the outside. No, they went inside. They grabbed everything they could find that would burn. The pews, the confessionals, the sacred art, the fancy vestments, piled it all up in the middle and lit a giant bonfire. Their real target wasn't the building itself. It was the stuff inside it, the very heart of the religious institution. You can just imagine what a horrifying sight this was for the people of Barcelona, no matter what their politics were. There's this quote from an art historian, Josep Gudiol, who saw it. He called it an unreal nightmare. He said he saw what he believed to be a gem just destroyed in a moment. The whole city felt like a piece of its soul had just been ripped out. But here's where the story takes a turn you would never, ever expect. It doesn't end with the fire and the ashes. This act of absolute destruction, it actually led to a kind of rebirth, a completely unintentional renewal. just look at this contrast. On one side, you have the total devastation in 1936, and on the other, the beautiful basilica as it stands today. Getting from that point of destruction to this point of restoration is an incredible story, because they didn't just rebuild what was lost. In a weird way, they found something that had been hidden for hundreds of years. You see, the fire had this totally ironic, completely unintended consequence. It was supposed to destroy the heart of the church, but in a bizarre twist of fate, it did something the original 14th century builders might have actually applauded. Here's what happened. Over hundreds of years, that beautiful, simple, wide-open interior got cluttered up with all this heavy, fancy Baroque stuff, elaborate altars and decorations. The fire? Well, it burned all of that away. And when the smoke finally cleared, what was left was the pure original 14th century Catalan Gothic design. All the clutter was gone. It was like the fire, as destructive as it was, had somehow purified the building, taking it back to its roots. And so, just like in the 1300s, the community came together again. The plan for restoration was to embrace this new, cleaner look. But there was one huge problem. All of the incredible stained glass windows had been completely destroyed in the fire. So what did they do? Exactly what their ancestors did 600 years before. They launched a fundraising campaign and asked the city's organizations and guilds to chip in. And get this, one of the groups that donated was FC Barcelona, the football club. And if you go there today and look really closely at one of the stained glass windows, you will find the Barca team crest. Now, that's not just a cool piece of trivia. It's so much more than that. It's a perfect symbol of how the idea of the people has changed over time. You have this modern, passionate, secular religion of football sitting right there inside a house of ancient faith. It's like a new kind of guild taking its place in the story. So, when you look at the Basilica today, what do you see? It's really become this incredible, enduring symbol. Its wild history means it's not just one thing anymore. It's got all these different layers of meaning. I mean, it is a living legacy. It's a treasured masterpiece of Catalan Gothic architecture for sure. It's a place where people go for quiet contemplation. It's become a huge icon in pop culture, especially after that novel, The Cathedral of the Sea, made its story famous around the world. But really, more than anything, it's a silent witness. It's a physical record of Barcelona's entire history, of creation, of terrible conflict, and of amazing resilience. And I think that's the big takeaway here. A building is never just a building. It's not just stone and glass. It's a story. Santa Maria del Mar proves that. These structures, they soak up the stories of the people who create them, who pray in them, and yet even the people who try to destroy them. They are living, breathing history. The whole dramatic past of this cathedral is literally written into its walls. You can feel it in the stones the Bastaixos carried. You can almost see the scorch marks from the fire, and you can see the football crest in the window. It really makes you wonder, right? What stories of creation and conflict are hidden in the buildings we all pass by every single day?